will move us to the new 3.2 that used to be 3.1. General Plan Initiation Proposal GPIP PA number 18-0046.
Let's see if the thing will work. It does. Great. All right, so this is what we're calling the Breslin Family GPIP Review. In the way of a background, the applicant submitted a pre-application as part of the city's GPIP process. The family would like to request a general plan amendment for 3 parcels they own, about 16.82 acres. The specific request would be to change the existing land use designation from estate density residential to medium high density residential. The EDR designation has 2-acre minimum lot sizes. And of course, MHDR, as I note there, is 5 to 8 units to the acre. So the MHDR land use designation would allow between 84 and 134 single-family attached or detached residences. Could allow for apartments as well, depending on the zoning. The family is considering a townhouse condominium development that would mirror the Vista del Lago project just to the north of Lake Elsinore. That's right on Grape Street there. If they do move forward, the formal project would also require a zone change, RR to R3, tentative tract map, plot plan, and likely a mitigated negative declaration. This kind of shows, oops, excuse me, looks like the vicinity map's not coming up, but these show where the vicinity is. So the area outlined in black with the blue arrow is where the site is. You can see the long, narrow design of the site. It's quite hilly. I have a couple of exhibits that will help reflect that, but you can see the existing EDR designation there, and then behind that is RM land use designation, and then that whole area has the RR zoning. This is kind of a preliminary site plan. This is nothing that has been looked at by staff. It was just something that was put together for the benefit of this particular meeting. And then this is a topographical layout showing the topography and how those units could be laid out. And this shows the topography from a different angle. You can see how the property kind of slopes from left to right. The buildings on the left are at the north end of the city near Malaga Road. The city boundary being just a little bit past that. And these are just our preliminary architectural designs. Again, staff has not looked at this, nor have we commented on it. And it's just something that the applicant wanted to provide just for clarification. So in the discussion points on the GPA, obviously land use compatibility is a question. Medium high density condominiums adjacent to existing large lot single family residences. Secondly, there would be up to 134 townhome condo units that would be added to the existing 1,245 that the Commission and Council has already approved that has not been built yet. And then there's potential traffic impacts on Grape Street and Railroad Canyon. Certainly there would have to be coordination with the city of Lake Elsinore. And of course, environmental impact concerns related with hillside development and how the site would be graded and what techniques would be used to comply with the general plan policies. So this is just, you've seen this before, it's in the staff report. These are the 4 apartment projects that have been approved that aren't built yet. Those about 676 units. And then these are the approved townhome condominium projects that has also been approved and have not been built yet. And that gets you to that 1,245 units that we have, basically that have been entitled. So our recommendation tonight, as it is with the GPIP, is to receive public testimony from the applicant and general public, discuss some land use and planning issues related to the GPA, and then forward comments on to the City Council. We have this scheduled for the June 13th City Council meeting. That concludes my presentation.
All right. Does the applicant wish to speak on the project?
Hi, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Ryan Jensen. I'm working on behalf of the Breslin family, and our goal is pretty simple. Our goal is to bring affordable, attractable homes to the city of Wildomar. We understand that there's quite a bit of entitled apartments that have been approved, but we feel that bringing tax revenue through affordable home ownership is a great benefit to the city of Wildomar. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public speakers?
Well, Commissioner, I was going to say, before you move on, if you have any questions for the applicant, now would be the time to ask.
Questions for the applicant?
When it comes to road improvements, have you added that to your plans, or?
From my understanding and doing some work in Lake Elsinore as well, we understand that they have approved the phase one, not necessarily on Railroad Canyon, but it's either going to be on Railroad Canyon or the ingress and egress in front of the Walmart on Grape Street. My conversations with the city of Lake Elsinore is that they're most likely leaning towards the ingress and egress on Grape Street as opposed to the roundabouts on Railroad Canyon Road. We think that that would greatly help mitigate traffic on the road. We understand that there might be other measures we would need to take to help mitigate the traffic, but with what Lake Elsinore has already approved with Caltrans, I understand it's already been funded and it's out for bidding currently, that would help mitigate traffic tremendously.
What about on the Wildomar side? I know we have improvements coming, but these kids are gonna go to Wildomar schools. So you're driving
We
to
haven't
Wildomar, not to Lake Elsinore.
We haven't looked quite too much into that, but we'd be happy to obviously look at that, providing that we can move forward on the project.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I do have a question. What is currently there? I saw there were some residences behind the property. What is currently on the property? Is there livestock or horses or?
Currently, the property is sitting vacant. Occasionally, we do get quite a bit of people that dump either boats or quite a bit of garbage on the property, which has caused the ownership, unexpected monies. And so we feel that in the current EDR, general plan designation, that the property would be highly unattractive to many people looking to put an estate home or a mansion in front of the 15 freeway, essentially.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any more? Thank you very much. So now we'll see if we have any public speakers.
Yes, we have Mr. Gary Andre with donated time by Mr. Ruben Castano for a total of 6 minutes.
Yes, my name's Gary Andre. We have a book here. It's from when we first became a city, what the people want in our community. And the people still want this today. We must establish a philosophy first before we begin design. We should create our design guidelines for rural architecture to help create and maintain a character that we already have. The team stated that we should not tear down mountains to fill our alleys. All through this book, if you read it, the people in the community here, and there's hundreds that were attending that thing, want to maintain the ranch community in Wildomar. We have a small issue here. Here's a picture of the general plan. We have rural mountainous and estate density residential. I don't see any higher density zones in that area, period. This is called spot zoning. The classic definition of spot zoning is the process of singling out a small parcel of land for a use classification totally different from that of the surrounding area for the benefit of the owner of such property and to the detriment of the other owners. 6 homes all the way around it, estate density and rural mountainous around it. To the left, it's church. On the Elsinore side, you have 2 or 3 homes, and then, no, 2 homes on the Elsinore side, and then the 4 are up on the Wildomar side. The concern is, we were taught this by Mr. Jex about spot zoning, how to be concerned about it. And it is an issue. It happens in a lot of cities, happens in a lot of places. Problem is, a project like this goes in without buffers around it, without open space buffers around that project. That project, the next person can buy a property going up and go all the way up the mountain. It can be high density all the way up to the boundaries, all the way around Wildomar with it. It's gotta come to a stop. When do we stop this high density mess? We have plenty of land to build ranch homes. That could be built half-acre homes there. That'd be nice. And it would fit in there, you know, not a problem. People wouldn't have an issue with that. But no, we gotta go as, you know, with a high density. You know, we gotta put 20, 30 units per acre. We already showed you, they already showed you the list, all the ones that hadn't even been built. Why aren't they building them? Because they're barely not even at 60%. I went around about 6 months ago to all the different apartment buildings in the area and asked them, are they at capacity yet? Oh, no. We're at 55. The one behind us here was at 40, about 46% at the time. Down off pre-lib. They had been there longer, it was higher. But we don't need this. Let's build. Let's build what the community wants. There is a reason. When we had a round table, that was when we did the general plan, the 2008 general plan, we had a round table. It was clearly explained to us, the densities are there for a reason. That goes up to the hillside. That parcel's one that's more flat. We wanted to change that into commercial for Wildomar on that side. Told it was spot zoning. Could not do that without a fight. So we didn't do it. And now we have high density wanting to go in. And all the ranches are right there. How would you like to own a 20, 30 acre ranch sitting above 170 units sitting below you? No. That's not what it's about. Wildomar, we wanted to become a city so we could build what we wanted. It's turning out to be just a bunch of apartments. And nothing's selling. You know, condos. So we just had David Ornstein in here. Had his project. David's a very good friend of mine. I've known David for years. And I spoke against his project, my friend. Said we don't need that here in Wildomar anymore. We need to start building what we need to build. I also stated we should want to annex something into this city, do a sphere of influence over those ranch homes they're building up on Claremont. Those are almost over $2 million homes. Talk about some money for the city here. It would bring in money. But this doesn't bring in money, this takes away. And when Melrose one day, I don't know when, but like Marietta said, Temecula said, Lake Elsinore said, that we all used to have Melrose. It all disappears after a while. What's the city going to do then with all these apartments sitting around? It's going to become Midway City over there on Beach Boulevard. Look like a garbage hole. Apartments don't get better with age, they get worse. And we need to understand that and look at that. And you need to consider the people that are up around that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Do we have any other speakers?
Mr. Kenneth Mays.
This report mentions the estate density residential and the rural mountains land use designations on the east side of the 15 freeway. What it fails to mention is the very high fire hazard severity zones in the local responsibility area, which is Wildomar, that fully encompasses property. Why has staff failed to include the VHFHSZ map in the planning agenda packet, or even mention it in their presentation. Staff is so concerned about the traffic flowing towards Railroad Canyon Grape, which is already an F intersection. There's no concern about the increased traffic flowing towards Bundy Canyon via Grape to Olive, Lemon, the Mission Trail, and Almond Streets. The owners are touting the idea of providing many shopping and restaurant opportunities within a short walking distance. The neighborhood to the north has a walking score of 40, making it car dependent. And with the closing of Vons and the possibility of Walmart closing, this is only going to get worse. Another thing, El Pollo Loco is a fast food joint. It's not a restaurant. If these condos are allowed to be built, they must provide sufficient parking, as the neighborhood to the north has a severe shortage of parking for its current residents. And the city planning must recognize in the documentation that these units are in a VHFHSZ zone, meaning they must conform to their building standards for very high fire hazard severity zone. Anything less lends itself to future lawsuits. Will these be townhomes or condos on individual parcels, or will they be on a single parcel? Will they be rentals by a single owner, or for sale to individuals? Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Gina Castanoff.
Hi, good evening. Off the bat, I want to say I agree with Gary and Ken on their comments. For the people in the audience that don't know, I was on the incorporation committee to make Wildomar a city. The roundtable that Gary speaks of is what the county provided us at time of incorporation. You know, that's all we had. We had input, but we didn't have the last say-so what we wanted. We didn't like everything that the county did, but we thought when we became a city, we could change those things. Because every year we did a town hall meeting. Every year, only not that one meeting we had, but every year we had town hall meetings to see what the people wanted. And they wanted exactly that rule. Why don't we put a moratorium on apartments and condos? You have many already stacked up, ready to be built. It's our 10th year as a city. We need to redo our map. Why don't you put a moratorium on those type of buildings, condos, townhouses, apartments, until we really get a good look at what we're building out here and get our design lines straight. Besides the impact financially to the city, we need tax dollars. The reason Marietta wanted us, because we had 3 exits, 3 off-ramps and on-ramps that were all commercial. And this commission, with council, over the last 10 years, has taken away more and more and more commercials, to the point that I know you say you need money, but I think money was mismanaged. So we need more dollars, instead of having the city put on possibly another 1% on general sales tax for everybody in the city. I don't think that's going to go over well, but that's what we see coming for Wildomar. So what we need, and Melorusas, at least they went away. These are CDFs. And if these people think that they come in and they're paying for their fire and police for their little area, well, they're mistaken, right? They're paying for all of us. And I don't think that's really a good way to keep on going. You know, to put our services on the tax of the newest residents of Wildomar because we can't manage our money. So why don't you change, and the people will make just as much money, you know, with commercial buildings, a commercial project, something that will service and fund our city, which we desperately need. You know, the idea that people have a right to sell their property, well, they do, but we as a city have a right for guidelines. As you know, look at our architecture all over. You've got everything all over the place here. You know, we need to rein it in and step back and take a look at what our city is really going to look like and what our future is. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah. No,
That is all, Chair.
All right. Commission discussion?
Can I make a comment on that real quick? Or-
Would you like to respond?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can.
do.
I would just like to mention that the highest and best use for this lot is a commercial application. And that being said, the commercial application that's currently under the rural residential applications or would be acceptable under conditional use permit would be that of a wrecking yard, outdoor storage, and a trailer and boat storage. We do get quite a bit of interest on this lot for those particular uses. I would suspect that as the city grows forward that they would probably not want those type of uses even though it would be easily achieved or through a CUP. So I understand that the points that the residents have made here, but I think that on a value basis, the commercial application is the highest and best use. And that being said, wrecking yards, outdoor storage, and trailer boats is what we think we might be seeing on this property in the near future. That's it.
Thank you. Discussion?
Well, there are responsibilities to discuss the proposed GPA and forward comments to the City Council for review and consideration. Our general plan is estate density residential, and to change it to a medium-high density residential doesn't really fit in with our general plan. Typically, we make conformity issues of where the zoning is not in conformity with the general plan. But to make such a drastic change to our general plan is not what I see for Wildomar. So I appreciate the thoughtfulness you put together, your presentation, the detail that you provided for us to help kind of see your vision for it. But I don't see how that fits in with the overall vision for Wildomar. So, but you have every right to pursue that with the City Council. That is where the buck stops in our town. But my responsibility is to uphold the vision of the community, and I don't know how to. I just, yeah. Good. So that's kind of where, to provide you with some comments and feedback. That's, it is tough because of where the land is, but also the topography and the feel of that whole area. We can't control what other cities do. That's beyond our borders, and we've had blowback from other cities about what we do on our borders. So, but within the boundaries of Wildomar, we're trying to stay true to the vision of Wildomar, and we can't please everyone. And I know this is probably not the comments you'd like to hear or the feedback you'd like to receive, but that's the feedback I have to give you tonight. So
I agree. We have to stay true to that general plan. There's been times that we've had to stay true to the general plan and not necessarily agree with it, but I think we have to in this case as well.
I agree, and I have very big concerns with the traffic study. I don't think that it's a very fiscally responsible of us to have this many homes built knowing they're all going to go spend their dollars in Lake Elsinore. We want them to spend them in Wildomar. So their convenience would be to go to Lake Elsinore, to go up farther up Railroad Canyon to Menifee and shop there. This would be very inconvenient. There's a lot of homes. If they're apartments, those are young families generally. They're driving to school. It's not a safe access. There's absolutely no way they can walk to school. from this location, it's not safe, there's no sidewalks. And that's not part of your property, it's all the properties, there's no sidewalks. They have to be driven or bused, and they're not the best zones at this time without the improvements that we have eventually coming. But even then, you would still have to drive through neighborhoods with small streets, kind of winding a little bit, just to get to Bundy Canyon from here. So I don't really support anything that says go spend your money in another city.
I'm gonna have to chime in with the rest of them here. The houses that surround this property, they have been relying on that area being estate density, and then it gets to rural mountainous afterwards. To put in condominiums in an area that wasn't designed for it, that really doesn't fit, it's not a good fit to me. I don't see that as something that we really need. We don't have a shortage of apartments on the books at all. We have plenty of apartments and condos available or coming up. I appreciate the time you guys took for the proposal and the sketches and designs, but I couldn't support it. I apologize, but I just can't.
One thing I would like to put in is, you know, estate density residential is 2 acre minimum. Is that correct, Matt? 2 acre minimum is considering, you know, a range of maybe low density residential. Because I know there's a lot of families that like to have their horses, that like to have their space, but they want to have their children nearby or extended family. And so, you know, something within that rural community, keeping it instead of estate density residential, maybe a low density residential as a change-up would be more appropriate, you know, a smaller, reasonable move that still keeps the vision, but not such a leap that it just doesn't seem to be in line with the overall plan for the community. So.
Yes, as Gary said, a transition of half acre or 1 acre before the estate density, that I could possibly see, but not medium high density. Any further comments? We're good for this one?
Yeah, there's no action to take. Just so it's clear, this is just a public discussion on this item. We will take your comments and report that to the City Council.